Hello, I'm Martin Liefeld, author, coach, consultant, and speaker. We're talking about stories in our work of fundraising, and I want to take a certain different angle to it, which is, what is our story as fundraisers? Typically we have the story of our organizations down fairly pat. But what is our story? Because who we are, how we view the world, how we view our organization, how we view the world of fundraising has everything to do with our impact and success. Wouldn't you agree? So here are 6 themes I suggest that we as fundraisers embrace as foundational to our story. In fact, perhaps you'll find yourself nodding because these are 6 themes of yours as they are of mine. First, we enjoy a fulfilling vocation. It's a vocation. It's meant to be something greater than any old job. It's meant to be meaningful. It has mission, it has purpose. And when we associate ourselves with these organizations, whether as employees or as volunteers, we become better through that association. This is powerful indeed. I remember once someone said to me as I was telling them about my work of fundraising, well, Martin, you're in a helping profession. And it struck me, well, educators, physicians, dentists, and so on, well, they're in helping professions. Well, so are we. Our work is unique. Our work is transformational as we go about supporting these important organizations and the work that is pursued and accomplished. It's meant to be fulfilling, satisfying, that we develop our character and abilities as we throw ourselves into our labor in service of our organizations. And it can be joyous, can it not, as we embrace our mission and those around us, both within the organization and around the organization. I certainly believe it's an enjoying and fulfilling vocation. Secondly, we do honorable work. Honorable work, we should believe we do honorable work. Sometimes donors teasing me would have over the years come up and say, hey, grab your billfold, close your purse, here comes Martin, the fundraiser. Well, I would smile, but to be honest with you, I never liked that because I never thought of myself that way. I thought of myself as being involved in something very, very important, and certainly of potential great importance for them, which was the mission I was representing for the organization for which I worked or volunteered. We do honorable work, and sometimes we fail to reflect on this because we're so busy about metrics. We're so busy about raising funds. We're so busy about getting materials and resources out the door or getting ourselves out the door in order to tell the story and raise funds for our organizations. We do honorable work. We work with donors that are the greatest people on the earth, people of great wisdom and success and achievement, people with whom we associate, and we can grow and develop in wisdom and insight by associating with them. It's honorable work because we are facilitators of philanthropy, connecting the missions of very important organizations with the passion and purpose of donors. How powerful that is. And sometimes we have the privilege of guiding donors to extraordinary philanthropy. This is honorable work. Third, we give, then ask. Generosity begins with us. Whether we're volunteers or staff, we should be as generous as we can be to our organizations. Now, I've heard it all, haven't you? We don't have much money. We didn't get a raise last year. Oh, the benefits are getting worse and it's costing us more. I don't like this, that, or the other thing, or this, that, or the other person in our organization. Therefore, I'm not going to support it. If we're going to belong to this kind of organization and give ourselves completely, we need to give our resources as generously as possible. But not only that, when we make gifts of what I call greater significance, gifts that matter to us, gifts that sometimes require sacrifice on our part, that puts us in a position where we have to examine such a contribution, such a commitment differently. And really, it's the same thing we ask donors when we ask them to make major gifts to our organization. It's a process we go through. And by going through it, we can have greater sensitivity and empathy and wisdom in guiding donors as they sometimes struggle in going through the process to be responsive to our request for support. Fourth, we develop donors, we develop people. Fundamental to our role is to develop donors. It's about a relationship, building a relationship, and during the course of that, the lifetime of that relationship, taking donors through the fundraising cycle. I like to call it the developing donor cycle. It's much more than just asking for money, a financial transaction. It's really about bringing donors into a relationship with an organization that over time deepens and becomes stronger, and to which they find their purpose and passion in life met, challenged, and sometimes exceeded. How powerful is that? But we do not just develop donors, we're developing them as people. They become greater people by associating with our organizations. Do you believe this? You think about the power of becoming philanthropic, how life-changing that can be for donors. And as they grow in their philanthropic disposition and outlook and activity, they become greater people. Their self-respect grows. The respect for them around the community grows. Their dignity grows. In fact, I believe, in effect, their souls are enlarged through this ennobling process of philanthropy. And we are the ones that facilitate such terrific activities, such terrific gifts. And we develop people as a result of this. How powerful is that? This partnership that we enter into with people in order to help develop them to become greater. And of course, in this process, as we work alongside them and assist them on behalf of our organizations, we are ennobled and we become greater people too. Fifth, we manifest ourselves to the world as we grow as persons and develop our craft. You know, work is where we spend so much time and energy and effort associating with these meaningful organizations. And work is not meant to be easy. It's often, so often, is it not, laborious and challenging, a struggle? And yet in this process that we give ourselves to of work, we develop abilities. We grow in character. We grow in persons. And we're developing skills and abilities along the way. That's why we're called to be lifelong learners in our profession, always growing and developing and acquiring competency. This is so important that we see that this is our opportunity to change the world, and we do so in a primary way through our work. Sixth and finally, we are trustworthy, we are virtuous. Think about this. To be virtuous is to be of the highest moral standards and to be trustworthy. Donors, I know, certainly welcome representatives of organizations, and they expect as they do so people who are very competent and people certainly who are confident, who can stand before them and do this work well of engaging them around philanthropy and purpose. But I think foundationally they are looking for people of great character, people who are virtuous, people in whom they can trust. You know, once a few years ago while I was working at the University of Missouri, St. Louis, there was a woman, we'll call her Mary. And Mary had given $30,000 to the university over the years. And I approached Mary and asked for $1 million. Mary wanted to do it. And of course, she was not of such means that she could write a check. She had to engage with her advisors. And so there was some process to it, and we talked, various times during this process. And once she said, "Martin, I'm trusting you." And I responded, "Mary, this is all about trust." And Mary was not just trusting me, she was trusting in our organization. And she was trusting that the money that she would give could be fulfilling her passions and her purpose in life. We are trustworthy, we are virtuous. I wonder what you think about all of this. Please reach out to me at martinleifel.com. At martinleifel.com, there's almost 100 videos on fundraising and on leadership. And I have a book, 5 Minutes for Fundraising, that I recommend to you. You can get it on Amazon and at a discount and autographed on my website. And I wish you all great success in your lives and in your work.